We have fire. It's burning down pretty good now. Just wasted all this time and effort. Let's give this another shot. Hello, welcome back to another episode from Pale Horse Survival and Tactical. I'm Bill, glad you could join me. Today we're going to build a bow drill kit out of willow. Stay tuned. Hey, welcome back. About maybe it was 2.5 years ago, I harvested some few pieces of willow from a downed branch. It's a dead branch that was brought down in a storm that I ran across, and I've been wanting to build a bow drill kit from it, and just now getting around to it, so I figured I'd turn it into a video. So what we're going to do here is, I think we'll use this piece for the hearth board, and probably use this piece for the spindle. And this will just be a spare that'll probably make another spindle out of it. So we'll go ahead and construct the hearth board first. And what I do is I baton. When I build a lot of things, I always baton. I know there's a big debate between people about using a knife for batoning and not using it for batoning. I can tell you batoning is a very valuable technique to know, especially if you need to build something in a hurry. There's people I've seen who want to build bow drill kits, and they spend a whole bunch of time and effort and expenditure of calories whittling it down. I mean, if that's what you want to do, more power to you, but I would rather construct one quickly and use the skills to construct one quickly, because you never know, you may be in a situation where you need a fire fast, and you're not going to have time to whittle it down. And I'm all about conserving calories also. So with that said, we'll go ahead and split this guy down here. To see exactly where I want to start this. This is a softer wood. I usually make my hearth boards about a 1/2 inch in diameter, or thickness rather. Make this a little thicker since it's a soft wood, so the spindle doesn't burn through as fast. If you have a good bushcraft knife, full tang, batoning isn't going to hurt it as long as you don't do anything really crazy with it. And I also like a nice heavy knife so I can chop. I try to use my knife for multiple purposes. I am a minimalist, and the more things that I can use the knife for, adds up to less gear that I have to carry. So I utilize my knife for a great many things. What I do, I try to get a flat bottom, so when it sits down on the ground, it's not teeter-tottering. I think this is probably pretty good here. So that's the hearth board. And when you baton it, chop it to smooth it down that quick, you have a hearth board. Now what we're going to do is, we need to greatly diminish the size of this spindle. I usually prefer one about the width of my thumb up here above the knuckle. Go ahead and cut this guy down. So I always start out by roughing it out with some batoning. I baton all four corners. And if it splits off like that, just go to the other side and finish it the other end. Just like that. So what we have basically is a rectangle. So we're going to cut these two sides down now. So we're going to basically wind up with a rough square. See, we split off again, so you just spin it around to the other side, and I think I'm going to go ahead and start roughing it down from here. You don't want to remove too much material at first. You want to kind of look at it. We have a curve to it also. There's a slight curve to that piece when we first started out. You can probably see that curve there. A little bit of a curve. So you want to kind of read your piece. Don't start hacking away until you figure out what you're going to do here. So I think what we're going to do is, I'm going to start up on this end and start taking that curve down. Then you want to start working your corners, your 90-degree corners. So I rough it down by chopping, and then I'll finish by whittling it to get everything fine-tuned. That's what we have so far. Kind of sight down the piece. The spindle may have a little bit of a curve to it. It seemed to straighten it up pretty good. A little fat up here in the middle. Smooth that down. The main thing is, this is where we're at right now. It's pretty straight. The main thing is, you want your spindle to have a fairly even thickness from end to end. If you have a thick end and a skinny end, what's going to happen is when you start to use the bow drill, you have the bow drill cordage on there and you're actuating the spindle, the string's going to migrate from the fat end to the skinny end. And if it comes all the way down, it either goes up or down, gets into your hearth board, or up into your bearing block at the top. It's going to cause problems. So we're at the point now, we're just about the point I'm going to start doing the fine whittling on this to smooth it out. I'm going to take little bits off at a time. You can always take material off, but you can't put material on. That's the general rule. Still a little fat right here in the middle. You want to get it as round as possible. It doesn't have to be exact, but the closer you can get it, the smoother your kit is going to run. And the thing with bow drill kits, no two kits are ever alike, and each one always winds up with its own particular personality. I've built kits that absolutely operate like a dream, real smooth, and then I've built other kits that just did not want to cooperate. Every kit I've ever built, it's always been from wild crafted or wild harvested wood. I've never used milled lumber from a lumber yard or whatever. I built kits from trees and shrubs, and this is where we're at right now. It's not too bad. It's getting there. Just a little bit more fine tuning. Try and bring that width down just a bit. It's close. You can probably see that I'm rotating the spindle as I'm just lightly shaving here, because we're real close. I don't want to take too much material off. at this stage. It just takes a lot of practice, and it becomes intuitive after you've been doing it for a while. The primary building material in the bush is wood. It really helps to develop woodworking skills. And the only way you can do that is a lot of practice. I've been working with wood my entire life, since I was a kid. A little more off this end. Okay, we're getting pretty close here. This is what we have. And we got rid of that bow. It is nice and straight. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to reposition the camera and go get my bow. And we'll go ahead and get this dude burned in and get a notch cut and get a coal. Stay tuned, I shall return. Okay, I was doing a little more fine tuning on the spindle. So it's looking pretty good now. It's nice and straight. It's got a nice even width from end to end. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to round off one end. That'll be the part that goes on the hearth board. And then I'm going to whittle the other end into a point for the bearing block. This top piece here is going to be for the bearing block. And my reason for that is, you see the knots? There's little knots here. Here's one down here. Put the knots up at the top for the bearing block. Otherwise, as you're using your spindle and it starts to wear its way in, you're going to hit these knots, and they're harder, and that can screw up your fire making effort. So I always put them at the top. The other end is knot free, so this is the part we're going to business in. That's going to go down to the hearth board. Go ahead and point this top one off. Almost there. That'll do it. And then here we're going to blunt the bottom off. So what we're doing, we're knocking that 90-degree edge off. And once the edge is knocked off, I'm going to kind of go around the edge and take off any ridges. Help the spindle travel a lot more smoothly in the hearth board, in the divot that we're going to burn in here. Alright, so this is what we have. So we're all set. So I'm going to go grab the bow and we'll get ready to burn this thing in. What I usually do, if the ground's, it's a good habit to get into, You don't want to lay your spindle down on the wet ground, the business end. So what I do, I take the sharp end and I usually just stab it into the ground so it holds it up off the ground. It's just a good habit to get into so it doesn't absorb any moisture off the ground. Ground's slightly damp out here. Stay tuned, I shall return. Our bow drill divot in here. Go ahead and stick it in right about here. And all the bow drill divot is, it acts as a pilot hole on the initial burn end, so your spindle doesn't pop out and wander all over the board. Should be big enough. Move everything out of the way that the bow might hang up on. You place your spindle in your bowstring. You want it, a good practice to have is have it on the outside, not on the inside, but on the outside. The board's nice and flat. It's not teeter-tottering, it's pretty stable. Pretty good burn in. Started smoking pretty quickly, which is always a good sign. Spin you guys around over here without cutting the video. And cut the notch on this. Okay, this is what we have. So we'll go in here and just clean out a little bit of the fuzz so that the char won't hang up on it. We want the char to move down, accumulate at the bottom here. We'll go ahead and open up this bottom just a bit to channel a little bit of extra oxygen into this. So that coal can breathe. Just like that. I'm going to go ahead and prepare a tinder bundle, and I shall return. Stay tuned. Well, this one was a struggle, guys. I had to start another hole. Couldn't get the char to ignite. We have a coal now. Like I was saying, they all have a personality. Let that coal build. I burned all the way through to the bottom with that first hole. Could not get it to stay lit. The wood's dry. It's been in my truck, so I have no idea what was going on there. I'm using pine needles as tinder because they contain a certain degree of sap. As a result, they're very flammable. Yeah, this one fought me pretty good. Well, finally got it going. This one was quite a challenge. That first hole, it's about 4 attempts there, and the coal would not stay lit. It would start and then it would stop. I don't know what's going on. This wood's been in my truck. I know it's bone dry, so very odd. So I went ahead and I carved another divot and gave it another shot, and as you can see, you're a witness to it, it actually it works. So finally got it. Perseverance paid off. So well, I hope all of you enjoyed the video as much as I did making it today. Please like, subscribe, and share. I hope all of you are having an outstanding day or night, depending on where you're located, and I will see all of you very soon on the next one. Everybody take care. Bye-bye. Yeah, that was quite a struggle getting that going. Sometimes they fight you and sometimes they don't. I figure I would reward myself with, I got a fire going. I'm going to make good use of it. Reward myself with some pine needle tea. I don't know what happened with that. Very bizarre to have one behave like that. Main thing is you just don't get discouraged and keep giving it a try. Yeah, the first time I did it, it smoldered a little bit, the char, and then it went out. I thought, well, that happens sometimes. I did it a second time. I mean, I had it smoking really good, and then it went out, and I thought, this is bizarre. And then the third and fourth time, I nearly burnt through the bottom of the hearth board. That's when I thought, well, I'll give it one more try. So anyways, a little pine needle tea would be nice out here. A little nippy. We're heading into winter time, so it's actually nice. I'm a cold weather person, and I would much rather be slightly cool than too hot. Pine needle tea is, if you've never had it before, it's delicious. It has carbohydrates, it has medicinal constituents, it helps to decongest and open up the airways. It's an expectorant, helps bring up phlegm, mucus. Makes for a very, very tasty, nutritious tea. Put just a little bit more in here. Keeping an eye on the fire back behind me here. That should be good enough. It's about that amount in there. That's a pretty good amount. You can put more, you can put less, depends on personal preference. I'll fill that cup about halfway. And I will see you guys over at the fire. Go ahead and set this in there. And main thing is you don't want to boil herbs. You want to simmer them. If you boil them, the water's 212 degrees or a little bit hotter, it starts to degrade the beneficial constituents in the herbs, so it's better to simmer them. So just get them to where they're simmering, let it do its thing for 15-20 minutes or so, and then you can pour it off and enjoy a tasty cup of tea. So I'm going to go ahead and let this do its thing, and I'll bounce back when it's ready. Stay tuned. Yeah, this has been simmering for quite a while now. I'm going to go ahead and pull it off the fire. Let it cool over here for a bit and allow it to steep. You can see it's still, oh yeah, that's plenty hot enough for tea. I'll go ahead and let that simmer for a while, and I will be back. Okay, it's still pretty warm. I think we're good here. I'm gonna go ahead and decanter this off. It's been a great day out here in the woods, shooting video and doing some bushcrafting. Pretty soon this whole area is going to be underneath probably about 8 to 12 foot of snow, and I won't be able to get back in here. It's the only bad thing about winter. I don't miss the heat, but unless I had a dog team or something to get in here, but it's pretty treacherous getting up here. I got stuck in the ice one time trying to get up here and almost didn't get out. This really looks good, this tea. Ooh, it's hot. Oh yeah, that's good. Gotta let it cool down a little more. Well, appreciate you guys joining me on this one, and I'll see you all very soon. Everybody take care. Bye-bye.